everybody. What's going on, everybody? Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. My name is Kevin Smith. Thank you all so much for tuning into Loud Majority Live. We've got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Today is going to be a day of choice words on this show. That is for sure. As we debunk the myth and the notion of both sides-ism. Both sides-ism, one of the dumbest political arguments imaginable. Particularly in the context of the political sphere in which we live. When people try to claim both sidesism, what they are doing is they are going out of their way to obfuscate the responsibility in which they take for causing the problems that we have in our world. Today, we're going to talk about the concept of both sidesism. It's the whataboutism for stupid people. We're going to go into all of that. Also, a fiery congressional hearing today in the Senate with Kash Patel showing America what needs to happen. Okay, my favorite movie ever is The Godfather. My favorite movie ever, like many people. And my favorite line is not the obvious ones. It's not the I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. It's not one of those. But we'll get into it. We'll get into what my favorite line from The Godfather is and why it matters in this particular context. Also, ICE receives over 150,000 applications to join up the force, as Americans are saying they have absolutely had enough. But before we dive into all of that, guys, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Share the video out all over the place, wherever it is you may be watching from. Let's pop that regular Rumble chat up onto the screen wherever you guys are watching. Do me a favor. You can stay on the stream where you're watching, but do me a favor and please do give me a follow over at rumble.com/loudmajorityus. It really helps that channel grow. It really does help. It really does help me. We're also going to be having some big announcements coming out on Long Island about some stuff that I mentioned at the Charlie Kirk vigil the other day. I'm super excited about it. I need a little bit of time because, these things take time, but big stuff is going to be coming, particularly if you are a young Long Islander looking to get involved. So make sure you guys stay tuned for all of that. Do me a favor, guys. If you want to stay up to date on everything that we are doing, head on over to loudmajorityusa.com. That's loudmajorityusa.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Check out our shop. That is the best way to support this channel and everything we've got going on over here. Also, you guys can use promo code RUMBLE to get 20% off everything on our website. That is the best way to support this program. Also, this weekend, I will be at the Belmore Street Fair Saturday and Sunday, as I always am, because we love Belmore here at the Loud Majority. They do a phenomenal job at their fair, and we will be there spreading the good word of Charlie Kirk and all the things we have going on. Boom. Let's giddy up. Let's go. Let's giddy up. Let's go. Let's dive right on in, because I got to be honest with you. For those of you who know me, know that I don't really have the ability to hide my emotions about almost anything. Some people call it a character flaw. I call it just being me. Well, today, there has been a whole mess of both sidesism. What is both sidesism? Well, political violence. Political violence is a both sides issue, and we really shouldn't be demonizing certain people for doing X, Y, or Z. We shouldn't be doing that because both sidesism does it. Well, I want to be clear. First off, that is crap. That is absolute crap. This idea of both sidesism comes from one study that is completely flawed. The majority of Democrats can't even tell you which study this bit of nonsense comes from. One of the most ridiculous studies imaginable out of the University of Stanford. Absolute and complete utter crap. But we're going to show some examples today. We're going to show some examples today of people doing the both sidesism. And then we're going to talk about the concept of unity unity. How do we unify? How do we come together? I have long said I have no intention of unifying. None whatsoever. Not even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I have absolutely no intention of unifying with anyone who would celebrate the assassination of somebody that they didn't know. I have absolutely no intention of unifying with people who objectively stand against my values. I have no intention of unifying with people who would just as easily laugh at me being dead. So we are going to start with someone that I know most of you do not know. Most of you do not know. He is a huge internet personality. He's also one of the worst people in America. He goes by the name The Omniliberal on X. His name is Destiny. Destiny, I'll give you a little bit of background on Destiny. I'll give you some personal stuff on him. Aside from, in my opinion, having an aggressive Adderall addiction and being one of the stupidest people on planet Earth. His kids hate him. His wife left him after he had a polyamorous relationship. For those of you who don't know what that means he used to let other men bang his wife. He's one of the worst people on the internet. He decided that he was going to go on his show that I shouldn't say nobody watches, because for some reason this guy has an aggressively large platform. He decided to go on his show and say this, not before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, but after, and then go on Piers Morgan's show to defend it.
Out the crime statistics?
Not exactly like.
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. The issue is right now, they don't feel like there's any fear. Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess. I don't know, bro. I don't know. I don't care. I'm playing video games. Okay, I'm done today. I don't give a fuck. God, it's gonna be so fucking gay if I get killed in the next fucking 2 months of shit I'm doing. Well, the cuck shit out here. Please don't anybody make any actual fucking, the most cucked, weak-ass, fucking bullshit-ass speeches on my side. God, if it happens, holy shit, I'm gonna make a death note before I go out to go live and not... God, it's so cucked. It's so optics cucked.
Cox has made it clear that their investigation has now established that he had been radicalized by a leftist ideology, which drove him to do this. That's just
I'm sorry, excuse me, when?
Yesterday, he said that.
No. When was he radicalized? In the 6 months that he did remote college?
I don't know when he was radicalized, but I do know.
What you just said
I do know the very reasonable sounding governor of Utah has made it clear that the
he hasn't made it
you may
clear.
not want to
said
hear
this.
This.
Is an ongoing investigation.
You may not want to hear it,
hear
Destiny. But the reality is, the investigators, according to the governor of Utah, have established that he was radicalized to a leftist ideology that drove him to murder Charlie Kirk. Now, let me just ask you.
That's just not true.
Let me just
There's
ask
no
you.
way to deal with it.
Okay,
You're living in a
accusing the
delusional
governor
fantasy.
of lying.
Yeah.
That's your prerogative. But
sure.
If it turns out to have been somebody with a leftist ideology who wanted to shut up Charlie Kirk, would you condemn that?
I won't condemn anything until the president of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
So you won't condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk until Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature, condemning violence, turning down the temperature for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
Right.
Can you tell me why he cannot?
Why would you
his
expect
side
anybody,
to calm down?
Destiny?
You can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't
Can
Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent?
Why do you
can't
think?
Trump say that?
Why do you
Why
think?
is your behavior contingent on Donald Trump?
I'm insane right now.
Why do you
is
think?
your
No, let me
behavior
ask a
contingent
question.
on Donald Trump?
Let me
Why
ask
is
a
that?
question.
Because he's the president of the United States of America and the leader of the opposing political party.
Destiny. Let me
You
just.
have a huge audience of young men who
I'm a
listen to
YouTuber
everything you have to
who
say.
has more
So
young
when
men
you,
following
it
him.
doesn't
Who
matter.
has
You have a
more young-
huge
it doesn't
audience,
matter.
and because
This
of
is
the fact that
world
you have a
I'm
huge
living in,
audience,
and
you
your
have
brain
a
has been
responsibility
broken by
to
online
not
rhetoric.
turn. No,
And
it
your
hasn't.
brain
It
has
hasn't
been
been broken. I
destroyed
actually care
because
about the
people
country
bullied you on
and want to bring
Twitter.
people together.
If
You do
then
the
you should tell
opposite.
Donald
You
Trump to
represent
tell
the
people
worst
to
of us,
be-
Destiny.
Now, I want to be clear that he's arguing with Anna Kasparian there, someone who I've criticized in the past, someone who I've praised in the past. But I want to know, what kind of unity can I bring to someone who believes that. It got worse from there. It gets exceedingly worse from there. Destiny is like, and look, I know most of you have no idea who this person is, and honestly, you're better for it. But the fact remains is that people listen to this guy. People listen to this guy. He is objectively evil. People think that there is some harangue of evildoers out there, the globalists and the New World Order and all. No, it's people like that that are bringing down this country. It's people like that. And I want to be clear. If you have kids that may lean left, may be a little bit more liberal, I promise you, they are listening to this guy. I absolutely promise you. They know who this guy is, and they follow him. He's got a gigantic platform who's actively calling for people to die because he disagrees with them politically. But it gets even worse from there.
I don't understand you, Destiny. You have so much hatred in your heart, and at the same time,
it's
you
such a
judge
simple thing.
others
If you're
as
going to
hateful.
weaponize somebody's grief against the other party, well, then of course people have a right to fight back against it. I think that she has every right to grieve in whatever way she wants, but when that grief is going to be weaponized to do recruitment, political recruitment, and further radicalization of the other side, then of course you not only have the ability to mock it, I think you have the obligation to mock it. It's insane.
Let me understand. Let me understand your argument. So since others are using her grief to politically recruit, you think that it's okay to mock her specifically?
Since others
How
are
does that make
using
any
her grief,
sense?
she's the one who gave a 17-minute speech on TV where she talked about good versus evil. She's the one showing up in
Destiny, let me
TPUSA
explain,
ads to
let
1
me
or 2
explain
days
something
after.
to you. If someone assassinated my husband, I would not be able to have the level of composure she had during that speech. I would be out for blood. I understand why she's angry and why she said the things that she said. Okay, you need to understand what being a human is, what it's like to actually lose someone that you love, that you chose to spend your life with, that you chose to raise children with, a person who was violently and viciously assassinated like that. This is why I've moved
That's fine.
away
And when
from
something yeah, I know, yes,
identifying as
because you got bullied online. It's so funny. It's so funny that you just
so
said that you
embarrassing
don't
on the
think about
left.
how other people act to define your behavior. Your entire political ideology now is somehow defined by the people that were mean to you on Twitter.
No,
if somebody
it's
cares
not.
about somebody who's
No,
grieving,
I
then
understood
you tell that
what the
person,
flaws
you
on
tell
the
that
left
person,
happen to
hey,
be. The
maybe you
weakness
should
in their
step back for a
arguments.
couple of
No,
weeks.
no, it's
Maybe you
not
should
about
take
the
some
way
time
I
to
get
grieve.
treated.
You don't
I get
say,
treated
hey, let's
like
throw a
crap from
camera in
both
front
sides
of
of
you
the
and have
political
you do
aisle.
mass recruitment for our political party while everyone over here is calling for civil war. It's unhinged. When you've got people like Matt Walsh of the Daily Wire, the
we're
president
talking
of the
to a
United States
guy
calling
who
for
said
civil
he'd be
war.
okay with his own parents getting killed if they went to that Trump rally where that assassination
Yeah,
attempt
and we're talking
happened.
to a
There's
woman
no
who went
reasoning
on and
with
did
you,
the whole
Destiny.
conservative media
There's
outlet
no,
with
there's
Tucker
no
Carlson
reasoning
and
with
Glenn
you.
Beck.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. Destiny also said that he would have hoped his parents got killed if they had went to that Trump rally where Corey Campitor was killed in Butler, Pennsylvania. This is one of the worst people in America. Now, the only reason why I'm going to continue to expose you to this malevolent piece of shit is because I am getting sick and tired of the, we gotta come together. No. I'm not coming together with people who would just as easily see me killed. I'm not doing that. Sagar and Jetty said the other day on Breaking Point, another political commentator of the, I don't even know what you'd call him, sort of right, I guess you'd call it. He said that he genuinely went into his coffee shop and said that he was worried that his barista was out there who would celebrate his death if it would happen. And these are very real fears that are popping up all over the country. Something is broken in this nation that people like this have the ability to exist. Now, Elon Musk has called for this guy to be thrown in prison for repeatedly inciting violence all over the country. And I want to be clear, on an objective level, I don't believe that. Hold on. Oh, there we go. There, fixed it. There we go. Sorry about that. On an objective level, I don't think that this guy should be thrown in jail for what he's saying. I want him thrown in jail. I want an example to be made out of him. I want everyone to see that we do not need to exist in this world with pieces of shit like Destiny in it. I really don't. I don't think we need these people around us anymore. It got worse from there. Andrew Wilson and Jack Posobiec. I got to be honest with you. And Andrew Wilson is not known for his grace. He's very blunt. If you've ever seen his clips on the Whatever podcast, you know. But Jack Posobiec, who's a friend of mine, I was actually just texting. I was just texting his brother. The grace in which he showed to not lose his mind over the things being said here is almost immeasurable. Jack deserves a damn medal for being able to hold it in after this.
Online because
Why did you mock his widow?
Because she's being used as a political weapon right now
Wow.
for conservatives to continue their fight. What do you mean, wow? She's literally doing
Her husband just got
ads
murdered.
on email. Yeah, and she's using it to drive up recruitment for
And
a
you
political
can't even
movement.
condemn the murder. You won't
The
condemn
president
it.
can't even tell his side
You're
to
so
turn the temperature
deranged
down.
about Trump that you
are
cannot condemn the
unhinged.
murder
It is such a
because you're
joke,
waiting
and
for
you guys
Donald
sit
Trump
here
to
and
say
make money
something.
off of it. It's
All right, let me bring
crazy
in
to me that
Jack.
Republicans can't
Let me
do
bring
it.
in Jack
What a joke of the
Posobiec.
world.
I gotta
And there
say,
will be there's still no answer to that question, Piers. You can't say
Which question?
Why can't Donald Trump simply go on TV and say we all need to turn it down,
Fine.
like Biden could, like Obama could,
Fine.
like the Clintons could, like Kamala could. Why
Fine.
not?
Why can't you condemn the murder of
See,
Charlie
it's
Kirk?
unbelievable. I'm not the president
Why
of the United
can't
States.
you
answer that
condemn
question.
the
It's
murder of Charlie
unbelievable.
Kirk?
Unbelievable to me.
Why can't you condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because it wasn't my side that caused it. It should
Yes,
be the
it
one
was.
that is driving up
It
the
actually
rhetoric. You
was
don't
your
know it's
side
not
that
even
caused
true.
it.
This
It was
an
your
18
side.
This guy was raised in a white
He was
Christian
a
household,
radicalized
in a Christian
leftist
state.
ideology.
He wasn't radicalized by leftism at all. You have no proof of that whatsoever.
That's what
Just
the
like one that killed
investigators are
Melissa
saying.
was a conservative, just like the people that firebombed Shapiro's house was a conservative, just like all the J6ers were
He was not a
conservative, just like the Proud
conservative, he was
Boys
a
were conservative.
pro-Palestinian activist
Every
out of
single one of
Harrisburg.
every single one of these people. Oh, it's Jack Posobiec, what the author of Unhuman, another person that Charlie supported. Good one, dude.
But I'll give you one last chance, Destiny, to condemn the murder of Charlie
Yes, you
Kirk.
are acting like an
Why,
unhuman.
why can't I hear Donald Trump
'Cause you're against
condemn
humanity.
violence in
So,
this
all
country?
right, you
Why
won't
can't I
condemn
hear
it. Okay, we've
I
all
can't hear it.
heard.
That's insane
We've
to
all
me.
heard you repeatedly refuse to
And
condemn
we've
it.
heard Donald Trump refuse to condemn
Jack
it too. But for some
Posobiec-
reason, the leftists on YouTube are a bigger deal. Unbelievable.
Yeah, what's incredible is you don't have the basic humanity to condemn it. You'd rather taunt his widow. I find that sickening. Jack Posobiec.
I find it sickening that when people are getting killed in the country, the president of the United States on Fox and Friends, when they're begging him, what do you say to your followers that want revenge? He says, I don't know, all the elections are rigged. It's the radical Democrats. That's insane to me. And then the fixation is, well, who on Twitter and YouTube isn't condemning the violence?
All right, Jack
Piers,
Posobiec.
you have a great example here of the type of cancer I'm talking about, where when you present direct information, they refuse, they obfuscate, they refute, they say it's not true, they lie. You could see from the bullet casings, you could see from postings, you could see from everything out there that it's very clear what happened here. This is the same people who supported President Trump almost getting assassinated twice last year, Cory Capatore being assassinated
By
last year
conservatives.
in a situation. Again, see, just lies. That's all they do. They talk over. They don't even let you give a chance to speak. And something needs to be done, Piers. Something absolutely needs to be done. This ideology should be shamed, humiliated, driven from the public discourse. I mean, you've got people who have completely dissociated with humanity because all they care about are clicks and YouTube streams and likes. Go to the casket. Go to the gravesite. Go talk to the widow. You know, I don't even know how to discuss this with someone who's completely lost all touch with reality.
Yeah, I mean, Anna.
What's Jack's answer to why can't the president say we should all be less violent?
Right. Because you can't even condemn the cold-blooded
Because I
execution
can't.
of Charlie
Donald Trump
Kirk.
turns on Destiny.
I don't think
on
you're in the
YouTube,
position
and he
to
says, I
demand
wonder what
anything from
Destiny's saying
anybody.
on YouTube. That's how I'm going to take my.
You're
my
not.
point.
You know, I'm not somebody who normally sits back and like hopes for bad things to happen to people, but I wouldn't cry. Just because he's a bad guy. Sorry about that, I dropped something. This is what internet culture has wrought. People with no morals, who he'll go out and say, oh, he wasn't radicalized by any leftist ideology. He didn't have any sort of trans influence. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Here's the Attorney General of Utah.
Lingering. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Rob,
how long have you been planning this? Obviously, he was motivated by the people who went out and ran their mouth and lied about Charlie Kirk. And we know this. We inherently know this. And Democrats are going to try to do their both sidesism. Democrats are going to sit there and try to tell you that each side is just as bad. Here's Ben Shapiro talking about that. Oh, no, hold on. Hold on, where's the clip?
All feeling Matt's visceral rage, or at least if we're not, we should be. Yeah. And the question is where to direct it. And I think that visceral rage has to be directed at the ideological frameworks that create the impetus for violence. In that statement, when she says, why are you so hateful? That's kind of the whole thing. The reason I say that is because there is a basic framework for ideology. There's been this flattening where we pretend that all ideologies are equally likely to create violence. There's a favor to the media, right? It's just, or politicians. Political violence is bad, however it's formed. Political violence. Both sides. Everyone's doing it. Okay, here's the thing. We all know which ideologies, everyone knows which ideologies are most likely.
We are not burning down the country. We're not burning down businesses. We're not throwing rocks at police. We're praying.
Correct. And
you know what? That is the key takeaway here. Need any more example of this? Let's check in on Jessica Tarlov over on Fox News. Greg Gutfeld loses his mind.
Yes, we don't need it. What is interesting here is why is only this happening on the left and not the right? That's all we need to know. There's absolutely no cognitive...
What about Melissa Hortman that we just talked about?
You want to talk about Melissa Hortman? Did you know her name before it happened? None of us did. None of us were spending every single day talking about Mrs. Hortman. I never heard of her until after she died.
So she doesn't matter?
Don't play that bullshit with me. You know what I'm saying is there was no demonization, amplification about that woman before she died. It was a specific crime against her by somebody who knew her. The same. Now you could bring up Josh Shapiro, but then you will not bring up, for example, that was a pro-Palestine person. So don't use your. What about this? The fact of the matter is the both sides argument not only doesn't fly, we don't care. We don't care about your both sides argument. That shit is dead. For one thing, there is no cognitive dissonance on our side. On your side, your beliefs do not match reality, so you're coming up with these rationalizations like, what about this or what about that? We're not doing that because we saw it happen. We saw a young, bright man assassinated, and we know who did it. We are not coming up with rationalizations. We are calm, we are honest, and we are resolute. We're not defensive, and I understand the defensiveness. I understand why people are saying, what about this and what about this? Because if you have to face the underlying fact to this, your life is going to fall apart because you're going to realize you're not the good guys. If you sat around and you defended the mutilation of children, you're not the good guys. If you sat 600, 700 cases of harassment against Republicans and you said, but what about this? What about this? And then you see this murder after calling somebody a fascist, you realize maybe I'm not the good guy. That is a hell of a realization to deal with. So Therefore, you have to grasp at rationalizations. You don't have to do that, Jessica. They do. I don't believe you're part of that group, but why the hell do you have to mimic and echo that crap to us? He was a patsy. That guy was a patsy. He was under the hypnotic spell of a direct-to-consumer nihilism, the trans cult, and you know that. If you can decide that biology is false, you can agree that murder is okay and that humanity is expendable. How you cannot see that alone and see that for what the evil it is without having to attach all of these other things is beyond me.
I just want to be clear, and I want to let people speak. I in no way intended at all to minimize what happened to Charlie. I was horrified by it. I have not been on the five
But the
since
two
then,
sides argument, well, it's like pig Latin to a duck.
No. All that I was saying is could we have all of the information before you just say they did this? Because that is a broad brush to paint with this. And this kid
Let's
does
have
seem...
a conversation.
No.
Charlie had a conversation. He got shot. Look,
I
I'm sorry, Jessica. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You weren't here for a week. You came in here and it's cold. And I'm sorry, but this is a story that is immune to news cycles. It's immune to rationalizations. It's immune to bias. This thing is with us for good. And we all have to deal with that. So that means we can't live by the same arguments that you might be reading about relativism among the media. We can't deal with those stories. It doesn't matter. The media is dead to us on this story. They built this thing up. We're dealing with it. We're going to act. We don't care what the whataboutism is anymore. That shit's dead. Sorry. For the swearing as well. I apologize to the American public. I'm going to shut up for the rest of the show.
Nobody gives a shit, Greg. Say it out loud. And don't worry, I've got a friend at the FCC that can give you a hand. He's right, though. The whataboutism is dead. I'm over it. We're all over it. And just because Jessica Tarlov doesn't know something doesn't mean it isn't true. As a matter of fact, judging from the Discord message that this shooter used, we knew that he had become obsessed with the trans ideology, the cult that made people believe that there were people in this country being erased. Nobody's being erased, you clowns. Here was the Attorney General.
The roommate. Police interviewed Robinson's roommate, a biological male who was involved in a romantic relationship with Robinson. The roommate told police that the roommate received messages from Robinson about the shooting, and he did provide those messages to police. On September 10th, 2025, the roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing. Look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Police found a photograph of this note. The following text exchange, then took place. After reading the note, the roommate responded, "What? You're joking, right?" Robinson, "I am still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you." Roommate, "You weren't the one who did it, right?" Robinson, I am. I'm sorry." Roommate, "I thought they caught the person." Robinson, "No, they grabbed some crazy old dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I had planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering." Roommate, "Why?" Robinson, "Why did I do it?" Roommate, "Yeah." Robinson, "I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. If I am able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it." Roommate, "How long have you been planning this?" Robinson, "A bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it." Robinson again, "I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got to my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man would do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle. IDEK if it's had a serial number, but it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about Prince. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfit."
So he planned it out. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he didn't care. And he just didn't care. I have a clip of the criminal charges against him, but you guys know exactly what they are. The Attorney General of Utah said that he is seeking the death penalty for Robinson, and I think it should be swift. I think it should come relatively swift. I think it should also be based on what Erica wants. I think that should definitely come into play here. Charlie Kirk is dead because people lied about him. And that's just a fact. That's just a fact. A lot of people are using the phrase that this is the turning point in America. And I have to say it is. It is. We're going to come back with how exactly this is really bubbling up all over the place, not only in the Charlie Kirk case, but in the halls of the Senate as well, with the Kash Patel hearing going on right now. Before we get to all of that, guys, Old Glory Bank.
When big banks decide who gets access to America's financial systems and who doesn't, who do you think gets left out? Middle Americans who proudly wave their pro-America values. Cancel culture in banking is corrosive. It limits your participation in a vibrant, free market economy. Fortunately, you can fight back. You now have the opportunity to invest in the bank that's investing in a fair American banking system, one based in freedom. Ownership in Old Glory Bank, the pro-America online bank, is here. Old Glory Bank is a full-service FDIC-insured bank that's the alternative to overreaching, un-American big banks. We stand for privacy, security, and liberty. We stand for freedom, family, faith, and the flag. We stand for all the values you stand for, and for the values big banks can't stand. So help keep banking in the hands of Main Street, not Wall Street. To invest in Old Glory Bank, go to oldglorybank.com.
Guys, head on over to oldglorybank.com. That's oldglorybank.com. Look, a lot of things in life are complicated. One thing that isn't is switching banks to banks that support your values. And, of course, that over here is Old Glory Bank. That's oldglorybank.com. Actually, I just got an update. Ha 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 ha. Destiny has now been banned from Twitch, one of the largest video game streaming platforms in the country. I'm sure you don't know about it. I don't really know about it, but your kids do. Your kids do. Destiny has now been banned from Twitch, so now his sad and pathetic audience will not get to see the world's most famous cuck. If you don't know what that is, Google it yourself. And look, does this go against my principles to see that this person is being banned? Sure, it does. It does. And I don't care. I don't care. But at the beginning of the show today, I mentioned The Godfather. I mentioned The Godfather because I want to talk about my favorite scene from The Godfather. It is towards the end of the movie. When Michael becomes the Don. And he's got to make some decisions. He's got to make some decisions about what comes next for the family. And Michael understands that his brother, Tom, is not a wartime consigliere. He's not ready for what's coming next. He's not a bad guy. He's a good person. You know, he does what he's got to do. But he's not ready for what comes next. And I got to tell you, there are a lot of Republicans out there, a lot of people who, quite frankly, are not ready for what is going to be required next. And if you are one of those people, I am not saying you are a bad person. I am not saying that you are not down for the movement. I am not questioning your America First bona fides, and I am not saying that you are some kind of Democrat rhino. What I'm saying is it is 9s and 10s all the way through. Why? Because Charlie Kirk was the moderate. And they made him out to be the devil. And if you're a leftist and you're out there watching this and you didn't like Charlie Kirk, you are really going to fucking hate what comes next. You're really going to hate what comes next. And that is not in any way a call for violence. That is not in any way a call for anything that can even be construed as that. What I'm saying is, it is America first. It is people getting involved. I think it's 15,000 Turning Point USA chapters have been started in the last week. Organizations popping up all over the world. I'm ready for this, baby. I have over 300 messages from young people just on Long Island alone, ready to get involved, ready to accept the challenge, ready to accept the legacy that Charlie left behind, ready to get off the bench, off the sidelines, and get involved. You people who are cheering this shit on have no idea what you started. And it's time for leaders to lead. It's time for leaders to lead. One of the oldest questions in philosophy is, does the man make the times or does the times make the man? And I'm somebody who believes that the times make the man. The founding fathers were just regular guys until it was time to step up. Until it was time to be the revolutionary. Until it was time to be the leader of the movement they want to see. And if you're not ready for what comes next, that's okay. It's okay. Just get the hell out of our way. One person who's ready for what comes next is FBI Director Kash Patel, who has been under a lot of fire recently. For Epstein, for this, for that, he's not doing everything people want, blah, blah, blah. Well, today, he was not taking any crap in the House, in the Senate Judiciary hearing today against some of the worst people in America. Here he was with Adam Schiff.
Want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No. I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward.
I'm not surprised.
I'm not surprised that you continue to lie from your perch and put on a show so you can go raise money for your charade. You are a political buffoon at best.
Well, you can take an internet troll.
Take it to the bank that the FBI is protecting this country and the state and citizens of the California. We are bringing historic reform. Point of order. But all you care about is a child sex predator that was prosecuted by a prior administration, and the Obama Justice Department and the Biden Justice Department did squat. And what did President Trump do? Bring new charges courageously. And what have we done?
Chairman,
you said I'm the most transparent FBI director in history. 33,000 pages of information to you. I challenge you to say anything credibly to the truth. Go ahead and run to the cameras where you want to go now.
Both of you be quiet.
That's right. Put him in his place. Put him in his place. We know that Senate Republicans are certainly not going to put him in his place. We know that they're gonna cutesy time around. Well, in the words of Dan Bongino, cutesy time is over. Okay, I'm here for the fight. You better be here for the fight. It's time to step up. It's time to step up and be the leader. Be the leader. Kash Patel is doing. Look, these people go in there and they get their little video clips and they attach them to their fundraising emails. They do all that crap over and over and over again. And we've often talked about the charade that are a lot of these committee hearings. But Kash Patel's not going to take it. Here he was taking on the man who destroyed Newark, New Jersey.
That rant of false information does not bring this country together. If you want to work on bringing this country, it's my time, not yours.
My God.
If you want to talk about
dividing this country,
it is my time.
I follow you on your social media posts that tear this country apart.
To address your falsehoods.
Oh, you can try all you want
in this country.
To not take responsibility for what you have said. Sir, you're making a mockery of this committee. Sir, you don't tell me my time is over. The people of New Jersey tell me what my time is. You can't lecture me.
You can tell me my time's over.
You may be the charge of the FBI,
not going anywhere.
but I am not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman.
Not afraid of you.
Mr. Chairman, point of order. Senator Booker, I announced at the beginning of this meeting that this back and forth talking over each other doesn't work. And I said if that happened, I asked Patel not to respond, and I was going to give him some time after the senator's time was up to respond, and he has the privilege to do that uninterrupted.
Mr.
So
Chairman, one point of order.
Go ahead, Mr.
I've
Patel.
watched him talk over us, and you've never once criticized him for us not even being able to get our questions out.
Well,
he has been rude and disrespectful to senator after senator.
And when the senators were not giving him a chance to answer, I didn't stop the senator either. Go ahead, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. If the FBI, under my 7-month leadership, were failing this administration in this country, why do we have 23,000 violent felons arrested this year alone? A double increase from that time last year. Why is it that we have seized 6,000 weapons? Why have we found 1,500 child predators and arrested them? Why have we 300 human traffickers in jail? Why have we found and identified 4,700 children? Why have we seized 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, a 25% increase alone from last year? 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized, 7,000 kilograms of meth seized, and that's just on our criminal operations in summer heat. How is it possible that we are taking 8 kilograms off the streets of the cities in New Jersey and preventing the deaths of 607,000 people this year alone, a failure of the FBI and my leadership? How is it that we have counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeding the numbers from the entirety of last year? 33% increase in PRC, 83% in Russia, 60% in the CI space as it relates to Iran, and we haven't even talked about CT, the southern border, the northern border.
Before Senator Cruz, I kind of feel like a broken record today. All this interest in FBI termination, yet my colleagues showed no intent or interest in when my whistleblowers suffered retaliation over the past years, particularly the past 4 years.
That's because Democrats have no principles whatsoever, and Kash Patel's ready for the fight. Kash Patel is ready for what comes next. And good on him. You cannot take this shit lying down. This both sidesism is not going to happen. It only happens when we allow it to happen. And some people are ready for this. Here is Senator Cruz.
Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I have to say, it used to be that to see theater, you had to go to the Kennedy Center. Now, apparently, you need only go to the Senate Judiciary Committee and see our Senate Democrats berating the director of the FBI, which, okay, it's not, partisan politics is not new in the United States Congress. But what is remarkable is what Senator Booker was berating Director Patel about. He wasn't berating him for failing to do his job, but rather he was furious for Director Patel for successfully doing his job. For 4 years, the Democrats under Joe Biden had an open border that undermined the safety of every single American. They allowed 12 million illegal aliens to come into this country to invade this country, and every single day Americans were murdered, women were raped, children were assaulted by violent criminals that Democrats released. Now, Director Patel, I found Senator Booker's questioning really bizarre. He asked you, have you reassigned FBI agents from human trafficking to immigration issues? Director Patel, are the Mexican cartels that are bringing people illegally into this country engaged in human trafficking?
Yes, sir.
What the hell does it mean to reassign someone from human trafficking to immigration? The greatest human trafficking in the world has been over the last 4 years at our southern border. It is modern-day slavery that the Democrats still defend. They still defend those open borders. Mr. Patel, he also said, did you reassign FBI agents from protecting children to immigration? How many children have you found that were victimized by the open borders of the previous administration?
4,700.
4,700. And yet, oddly, I don't hear a Democrat here saying, gosh, thanks for protecting those kids.
35% increase year to date last year.
But apparently he's a failure. And oh, by the way, if Kash Patel is if he is redirecting FBI agents to handle immigration reform, maybe that's not the best, maybe that's not the worst idea in the world, considering we just got an update of a Cuban immigrant who came into the country illegally, who was released under the Biden administration, who cut somebody's head off.
Story now out of Dallas, where an illegal alien is accused of the brutal killing of a hotel manager right in front of the victim's family. That immigrant had a lengthy criminal history, but was released under the Biden administration. We have to warn you that the details of this case are very disturbing. Our Brooke Taylor live in Dallas for us now. And what was the lead up to all of this, Brooke?
Hi, John. Yeah, the details in this case are truly disturbing. An illegal migrant from Cuba is accused of beheading his manager, and apparently it is all over a broken washing machine. So the illegal migrant, he had a lengthy rap sheet. It includes child sexual assault and carjacking. According to ICE, he had a prior final order of removal to Cuba, but the country refused to take him in because of his criminal history. He was then released on an order of supervision in January 2025 under the Biden administration. Now, Yordinas Cabos Martinez is charged with capital murder. A Dallas police arrest affidavit says that on September 10th, Cabos Martinez was cleaning a motel room where he worked when his manager told him not to use a broken washing machine. He then got upset because the manager asked another employee to translate instead of speaking to him in Spanish. Video then shows the suspect leave the room, get a machete, and stab the motel manager multiple times. According to the affidavit, the manager's wife and son tried to stop that suspect. He pushed them away, though, and cut the man's head off from his body. The affidavit states, quote, the suspect kicked the complainant's head twice into the parking lot, proceeded to pick it up and carry it to the dumpster and put it inside. President Trump responding to this disturbing story, writing on Truth Social, in part, quote, he was released back into our homeland under incompetent Joe Biden because Cuba did not want such an evil person in their country. Rest assured, the time for being soft on these illegal immigrant criminals is over under my watch.
Oh, right. You see, guys, don't you know that if we don't let Cuban refugees into the country who cut their manager's head off because he won't let them use a broken washing machine, that I guess the poem that some chick scribed into the Statue of Liberty doesn't mean anything anymore. So yes, if Director Patel decided that he was going to reallocate FBI resources to get some illegal immigrant from Cuba who cut his manager's head off because he didn't want to translate to him in Spanish, then yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it. Then, I forgot. So not only did he cut his head off because he wouldn't let him use a broken washing machine. By the way, you can't use a washing machine that's broken. That's the essence of the broken part. But not only did that happen, he then kicked the head twice, picked up the head, and put it into a dumpster. Guys, don't you get it? We wouldn't be America if we didn't let this guy into the country. We wouldn't survive as a nation, don't you know? They're only here to pick fruit. They're only here to clean rich white people's bathrooms and raise their kids so that those kids can eventually grow up with some kind of a detachment disorder, end up going on Xanax, and, turning into the next school shooter. I don't know. I'm just rolling out the course of events here. If we didn't have that guy in America, what would we do? But Democrats aren't worried about that guy. They're worried about Charlie Kirk. By the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to all the Democrats in that Senate Judiciary Committee today. Only like 3 of them even mentioned Charlie Kirk. Knowing that Kash Patel and him are, like, really good friends. Both sides, guys. It's all about both sides. But if you're not ready for this war, then get out of our way. Because in the words of Deputy Director Bongino, QT time is over. And Nancy Mace, who I gotta be honest, has kind of become batshit crazy over the last couple of months. She's a firebrand. I love her. She's a little nuts. She's ready for the war. We'll get to that in 1 second. Before we do that, Mike Lindell.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 six-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Guys, head on over to MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code LOUD for up to 80% off everything on the website. That's MyPillow.com, promo code LOUD. So Nancy Mace, she's ready. She's up for the fight. She's ready to go. After the vile and disgusting comments from Somali Congresswoman, and I say Somali not because she's Somalian, but because she cares more about Somalia than she does America, Nancy Mace has put forth a privileged resolution to remove Ilhan Omar from all of her committees, including the Foreign Affairs Committee.
Provides a member, delegate, resident commissioner, officer, or employee of the House shall behave at all times in a manner that shall reflect credibility on the House. Whereas Representative Ilhan Omar's actions in the wake of the assassination of Charlie Kirk are reprehensible and affect the dignity and integrity of the proceedings of the House and do not reflect the credibility on the House. Now therefore be it resolved that Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota be censured. Representative Ilhan Omar forthwith present herself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure. Representative Ilhan Omar be censured with the public reading of this resolution by the Speaker, and Representative Ilhan Omar be and is hereby removed from the Committee on Education and Workforce and removed from the Committee on the Budget of the House.
Resolution. Now, I want to be clear. That is now, I know some people are sitting back and they're saying, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? That's not even going to do anything. And I can understand your frustration with that. However, if you are not on committees, you cannot fundraise for all intents and purposes. You're basically a useless member of Congress. So that actually does have some implications. Let's do it. And because she put forth a privilege resolution, everyone has to vote on it within 3 business days. And I want to be very clear about this. I don't care who you are. If you vote against this motion, I will personally fly out and assist in whatever primary challenge is going against you, and I will do it for free. Cutesy time is over, baby. It's over. If you're not up for the fight, get the hell out of the way. Get out of the way. Because I'm done with you. Guys, we got a couple minutes left, and I want to talk about this because this is really what I've been preaching over the last couple of days. And it's about what you can do. What you can do in the wake of Charlie Kirk's death. How do you become the leader you want to see? And a lot of people are starting to ask the question, well, who is the next Charlie Kirk? Well, I'm going to let somebody who knew Charlie Kirk best, my friend Jack Posobiec, explain that to you.
And that's what Erica had to say the other night. And I was there, in the very next room. I was choosing the studio, I was in the booth, and when she said that, she said the best way to honor Charlie is to continue his mission. And the best way to do that is just do what he always said. Turning Point was always meant to be an institution that survived and lived, sort of beyond Charlie. And, he would have gone off to do whatever he was going to do. And well, now he's on God's mission now, I guess, God's assignment, God's task. But, the goal, I think, is, and, Laura asked me this the other day. She said, She said, well, who's the next Charlie Kirk? And I think if somebody asked Charlie that, he would say, you are, right? Anyone can be. You don't be the next Charlie Kirk. Just be the next you, and find a table and set it up in your park or on your campus, or find a chair and a megaphone, whatever it is, and just go and do this and get active and be that light against this sea of darkness that we're currently seeing. And you can do it too. And oh, by the way, if you want to join with others, then Turning Point's going to be there.
Benny Johnson shared the exact same sentiment.
Benny, do you have any plans to get more involved with Turning Point USA? Your name has been kind of floated around as somebody who could maybe carry the torch and pick up where Charlie left off, where Charlie was cut short, I should say.
Well, I wasn't expecting this question, but let me give you the correct answer, which is Charlie is one of one.
Right.
Charlie is somebody who's known him for over a decade and worked with him and shared the stage with him across the country and traveled, quite frankly, around the world with Charlie. Let me tell you this. I was witness to a miracle. And perhaps this is the only time in my life I'll be able to say that, a true, proper miracle, which was Charlie Kirk's life. He had a calling, a prophetic calling, that can only come from our Lord and Savior. He had a vision as a young man wandering the RNC convention in 2012 when Mitt Romney was running for president, asking for his first donations for Turning Point.
Yeah.
Charlie Kirk must have been only 14 years old at that time. What other 14-year-old young men do you find doing that? He was one of one. That is what makes Charlie an American icon, a legend, and someone who can never be replaced. He's somebody who was, in many ways, I believe, a prophet. He's somebody who had a calling on his life, and anybody who was near him understood that. And so there is no replacing Charlie. He was a gift from God to us, and the best that we can possibly do now is learn from his life and to try and carry on that energy in our own.
We will. Benny Johnson, I really enjoyed the conversation. Thanks for being with us tonight. We appreciate it.
My honor.
So people keep asking, who is the next Charlie Kirk? You are. You're the next Charlie Kirk. In the way you live every day, you can be the next Charlie Kirk. Do you accept the challenge? Because I know I sure as hell do. Guys, it's 4 o'clock. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. If you're watching on LFA TV, Pete Santilli is coming up next on this network. I will be off for the next couple of days for a death in the family. But make sure you guys keep it locked into LFA TV for all the updates. I will be back on Monday. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in. And I want to thank, right off the bat, the boys for filling in for me over the course of the next 3 days. You guys, once again, do me a favor. Head on over to loudmajorityusa.com and sign up over there for all of the updates. If you guys want, I'll be at the Belmore Street Fair on Saturday and Sunday. Come on down, say hello. Until then, everybody, stay loud.